money is also fake, because as I've said many times before, that the three main religions that rule this planet are the religion of money, the religion of government, and organized religion. Hey, if I treat you a certain way, it means then that others will treat me a certain way. So I can't complain when things happen to me, because those things are a reflection of the things I've done in the past. Two ideologies, and these are similar to how you will have socialism and / communism and fascism. We will develop a plan, and I will set out some habits for you to do, and then we'll help you to achieve those goals. And within a few weeks, he was able to get more work. Progress over perfection. Focus on progress. If you can say, if you have trouble going to bed at night, try going to bed 5 minutes earlier. Celebrate that win the next day. And then the next day, try going for 6 minutes before, 7 minutes the next day, and on and on and on. And this is similar to the approach called Kaizen. If you are new to this podcast, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share, because that helps us to be recommended in the algorithms. If you would like to support this podcast, please check out our merch store on Amazon with the brand Todd and Me. We've got some cool t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and sweaters. Link will be in the description of this podcast. And if you're now starting a spiritual journey, you would like to start a spiritual journey, or you're currently on a spiritual journey and you would like some help removing some fears and traumas, please hit me up on my Instagram at Adriano_246, and it will help you to get some magic mushrooms. Enjoy the show and stay tuned, because we have some more great content coming soon. Hello and welcome back to the Conscious Man 7 podcast. I am your host, Todd Cave, and today we're going to do what I call a walk and talk, or some people call it a stream of consciousness. And for those who have followed me from social media days, know that I used to do a lot of walk and talks on my Instagram and Facebook, and today I want to do a long form version of those walk and talks, but we're going to talk about all the things that we talk about on the podcast. And I wanted to test out to see if this type of content y'all actually like, and if you do like it, then I will produce more, because I actually do like doing walk and talks, because I feel a lot more connected and I get a better stream of ideas, and I find that I'm able to really articulate in a good way, because walking in nature like this and stuff like is really good for the mental health as well, and you can connect to yourself.
When truth is blurred by lies and misinformation, perception becomes reality. What will you perceive your reality to be?
Liberate your fears and walk with me.
Sit down and meditate. Connect with your soul.
Be a monster and then learn how to control it.
You gotta be willing to do the work.
So it really goes really deep in terms of words and etymology and what they mean. So this is why it is really hard to really crack the matrix, because there's so many levels and layers to it, Basically, we can't have a walk and talk without talking about the state of the world. And the world today is a very strange place. We have a lot of inversion, and the reason why there's a lot of inversion is because we are literally living in the last days. We are literally living in biblical times, and this is also known as the apocalypse, and all truth is being revealed. And we're really seeing that this is the case, because all of the control structures that the Anuna gods came here and they set up are actually breaking. You can see that there's a lot of fragmentation and polarization in the political scene, and with the election of Donald Trump, we can see that basically half of the population in the United States, and the world for that matter, have basically lost their minds. And this is exactly what Christ said. Christ said that man will lose his mind. And what we have is a system of idol worship. Now, back in the days of Mesopotamia and Babylon, we had idol worship in the sense of, the gods, the Anuna gods were being worshipped in plain sight. But now we have other forms of worship where we worship, our celebrities, we worship our leaders, we worship, money, we worship the clothes that we wear, because we think that basically is all about materialism, and idol worship is in there as well. And this is why we have a massive social divide between rich and poor. We have a divide in terms of skin color. We have a divide in terms of sex, male and female. We have a division in terms of class. And the reason for this is that the Anuna gods, through their bloodlines, which are the 13 Saturnalian bloodlines of the Illuminati, they're the ones that are pulling all of the strings. And they realize that human beings are really controlled by fear. So what they do is that they do a lot of systems. They create a lot of systems. They create a lot of confusion and division, because they like to put us in boxes. And every time there's another box that we're put in, or we put ourselves, it means then that we identify as that thing. And the more things that we identify with, then it's easier to control us, because they can yank our strings. But the problem is that people fail to see that there's actually a different solution, which is oneness. And that's oneness with source, oneness with the universe, and we are all. This is why I always say to people that we all are God. And we have people that push back vehemently against that concept. I won't call any names of people who have challenged me in the past, but what I would say is that people, they don't understand that when they are giving all of their energy and belief to a savior, a thing, you're giving away your power. And Christ said it straight. He says, I didn't come here to judge. I left judgment for the Son. I reserved judgment for the Son. And we all are the sons. We are the sons of man. And this is one of the concepts that people fail to realize. So what it is now is that you have religious people believing that this character called Jesus is going to come back, when the thing is that Jesus was not even his real name. And his name was Yeshua, as I've said many, many times before. So what we have now is a division of us in terms of boxes. So the more boxes that we are put in, it's easier for us to control, and they can manipulate us so that we don't see that we all are one, we all are the same. And it's in oneness that we realize that, hey, if I treat you a certain way, it means then that others will treat me a certain way. So I can't complain when things happen to me, because those things are a reflection of the things that I've done in the past. No, it's true that bad things happen to good people, but that's just part of the process, right? That's just part of the cycle of life. That's just part of life. And what we need to do is realize that we need to start to work on ourselves and go inside. So this is why I was saying earlier that there's a massive, massive polarization in the political scene. And what's going to happen is that instability is going to start to be visible in the religious scene, because a lot of truth about religion is going to soon come out that's actually fake. All religion on earth is fake. And also we're going to start to see and understand that the money is also fake, because as I've said many times before, that the three main religions that rule this planet are the religion of money, the religion of government, and organized religion. And what these things do is that these things are what help create the matrix. because the matrix is all about perception and reality. And the more that I learn, the more I realize that I don't really know. And I realize that we are here for a very short time, and we have to take advantage of, you know, the time we have here, because in reality we've only come here to have an experience. We've come here to learn, to grow spiritually, to have soul growth, and these kind of things. And what we are doing is we're getting caught up into all the things like materialism, worship of cults, figures, letting money control our consciousness and morning and stuff like that. And what we really need to do is realize that those things are not what define us, right? What defines us is our character, how we treat others, how we treat this planet, and stuff like that. And this is why the people that are the people that are actually trying to say that, you know, we're destroying the planet, and they do have a point. But what it is now is that we have extremes in each camp. This is why you find that even in a good message, it can get corrupted. And this is exactly what happened when Christ came on earth, right? He had a good message, and his message was corrupted. And now we have Christianity, which is a very far removed and separated concept, idea, and ideology from what he actually came to teach. He came to teach us how to get out of the matrix, right? So, you know, this is a very deep subject which triggers a lot of people. I try my best to bring some clarity, and also to, you know, show the little connecting dots between all these things, because the truth is that this information is quite challenging to understand. It's dense, it's thick, and there are many layers to it, you know. So what we have really on Earth is a fight of extraterrestrial factions called the Anuna gods, right? So the Anuna gods are the Anunnaki, and it is most likely that we are a product of extraterrestrial intervention with the hominid species that was here on Earth. And all the information that I have looked at is pointing to this direction. In this direction, we have the Zulu tribe in South Africa. They talk about the Chitari, and there were two main gods. We have the Hopi that talk about the blue Kachina and the red Kachina, and they also say that they were seeded here by the Star people. The Aborigine tribe in Australia say that they specifically were seeded by the Pleiades, right? And then you have the Dogon tribe in Mali, and they say that their gods came from Sirius. So, you know, morning. So these are people, indigenous people, separated by water and massive amounts of landmass, basically saying the same thing. So does that prove that it's conclusive? No, it doesn't. But what it does do is that it makes a lot more sense than they're telling us that our history is only 6,000 years, because it's going according to the biblical narrative. When you have structures that are in Kef Klesi and the Gobekli Tepe and places like that are talking about maybe our history is even much longer, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 years ago, you know. So the thing is that what I'm saying is that there is a plan that is being executed to keep humanity in darkness. And basically there's one group which is basically appears to be extraterrestrial. They could be interdimensional, extraterrestrial, both at the same time, because extraterrestrial just means not from Earth. And basically it looks like they came here to mine for resources, and they end up creating us as a subspecies to be slaves. And then what happened is that we started to wake up and get some sense. And then this is where you see in the Bible it talks about, let us confuse man so that he no longer can speak in one tongue. And that was done by design so as to separate man, because we were really starting to get too smart, and we started to challenge them, and they were afraid of losing their control of power. So they created all these religions, created money, created these systems of governance like government, and these are things that they use to stop us from uniting, coming to one, realizing that we have a common fight, and that fight is against them. It is really a us versus them, right? So in the two factions of the Anunnaki, you have some two ideologies, and these are similar to how you will have socialism and / communism and fascism, right? And they're basically like how we have the left wing and right wing, but what we're failing to realize is that it's the same bird that's actually controlling the wings. And what it looks like is that both factions agree that humans need to be slaves, but how we become slaves is different. It looks like the left-wing side wants to do it by sheer brutality and force, and so that the slavery is visible. And the other side, which I think is more like the Trump side, the right-wing side, they more seem to want to do it through technology, AI, and they want to do it through subversion. So is what I call it is like 1984 is more like the left wing, and Brave New World is more like the right wing. And basically, in Brave New World, there's a drug called Somo, and Somo I relate to akin to social media, right? And basically, social media is the drug that's been basically dumbing us down and making us like creating a lot of debauchery, creating another matrix inside the matrix where people identify their lives with what they see on social media, right? And you know, time is getting really short. Even on this video is getting short because I didn't charge the battery fully, but I'm going to try my best to deliver everything in, with the less amount of battery I have left. And what we are going to start having is food shortages. And that has become very clear to me because where I live, some of the products and stuff, I'm starting to see that they're not as plentiful as they used to be. So my message in that regards is, if you go to the supermarket, instead of, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to panic, but we just want to be smart and prepare. So what that looks like is that if you're accustomed eating, say, 10 tins of tuna a week, just buy 12. And then what you do is that those extra 2 will build up over time. And then all you do is you just keep cycling and putting the new ones to the back and the old ones to the front. And then what that will do is that will allow you to build up a surplus, so that when people are panicking that things are very, very hard in terms of we can't get food, what we would have are some extras, that we don't have to worry about. And this is what I do personally, right? Because what we do know is that this is an all-out attack and assault on humanity. The people that are controlling this planet are anti-human. Now, some people say that they're reptilian shapeshifters. Well, there's information to suggest that. Do we have 100% proof? No. It's just like the things I say. And one of the challenges with people with this genre of information is that people are looking for absolute truths. And the way it looks, the more I've delved into this, is that they don't seem to be absolute truths, because the lines between myth and magic, religion, and what is written in text seems to be blurred, very, very blurred. It's almost like we're walking between worlds. And what I would say is that I look at things in terms of resonation, frequency and stuff like that. And this is why I'm able to speak so confidently about certain things. But I always encourage people to go and do their own research. And one of the things, though, that is an absolute is investing in yourself. You know, taking risk and, you know, working on yourself. And as you know, guys, I'm an online fitness trainer. I help spiritually inclined people burn fat and build muscle. And one of the things that I see in my clients, and I always tell them this, I can't give you a book to read, a pill to take, or some sort of like physical proof. But I know, because I've seen it, is that if you invest in yourself and you start to get into shape, what happens is that you are telling the universe, I am ready for change in my life. And I've seen this say with so many clients. So I had a couple of messages from my clients recently, and I told them, okay, look, I can't guarantee you that if you read this book, this will happen. But what I do know is if you invest in yourself, you take action, what I will do for you is I will help you improve your mindset, and it will help you to grow spiritually. And when you do that, you are actually sending out frequency and vibration to the universe to put in place the things that you want to achieve. And one of my clients yesterday, she messaged me and said that, Todd, I can't believe it. It's just as you said, like everything was just going so wrong, and now all of a sudden everything is going so right. And I'm really, really grateful for your guidance and your help and support. And then I have another client that when we first started to work, he wasn't really working. And I said to him, look, are you prepared to actually go and look to get more work? He says, yes. Because he said, well, I don't even know if I'd be able to pay for it, to pay for your service. I said, well, what you do is we will develop a plan, and I will set out some habits for you to do, and then we'll help you to achieve those goals. And within a few weeks, he was able to get more work. He's getting into great shape. He's feeling better. He's lost weight. He's got more energy. And he said to me that basically is all of the things that we do in the background. And the reason why I bring that up is because investing in yourself is never money wasted. It is only money wasted if you actually don't listen to your coaches or mentors. But if you listen to them, you will get massive growth, and you will not have to do the trial and error that those mentors, masters, and teachers are giving you, right? So I suggest that you start to get into shape, start to eat better, cut out the processed foods, and, you know, start to learn new skills, you know, because what's going to happen is that now in the world, we're going to have to admit some changes and do some adaptation, right? And one of the things that I've been blessed with is that I have a multitude of skills. Now, I only realized that I had all these skills a few years ago, and that I started to really lean into them because, as you know, guys, I used to be a civil engineer, and I was a really good engineer as well. But what it is that sometimes life forces you to invest in yourself and go within, or you have to make the choice and you do it. And, you know, it's still painful, it's still hard, but as I tell people, it's better to do the hard thing when it's easy to do than to do the hard thing when it is hard to do. And now to invest in yourself it is easy to do because we don't have massive global war. We don't have massive food shortages. We're not worrying about dodging bombs, bullets, and, you know what I mean? We're not living in a state of total lawlessness, right? So no one's looking to invest in himself, do meditation, read books, and all that kind of stuff during that time, right? So start cutting out the foods that you know that you shouldn't eat. Start to get the body moving. If you are so out of shape, you can start doing something like what I'm doing now, walking. That will do is that this will help you to get outside. You're not on your phone, and you can listen to nature. Or if you just live in a concrete jungle like a city, it doesn't matter. You can actually just get out and walk. And what you're doing is that you can actually have like what Joe Dispenza calls like a walking meditation. So you're actually like walking, and because you're not on your phone, you're actually observing what's going on. You're thinking about things, right? And that's a really good thing to do, right? And then one of the other things that I think that we should start to do is learn other languages. Now, I've been blessed where my life put me in situations where I learned 2 other languages. And honestly, I would like to learn another one, but on a real, the thing is that takes a lot of time and effort. And the only way I would learn another language is if I were to date someone that I was serious about that spoke another language, because I'm a very firm believer in learning the language that your partner speaks, because one, it gives you respect from those people, because even though you're not fluent in the language, the mere fact that you're making an effort and you're trying, people will respect you, and they will help you as well. 2, you unlock another part of your brain. So what this does now is that this gives you the ability to grow in terms of your intellect, consciousness, and what's not. Because there's something really strange that happens. Because when I realized that when I started to learn Spanish and Portuguese, because I actually pretty much learned them together, which is actually kind of difficult, but that's another story. But what I started to realize is that I started to see things differently because I was looking for patterns in the language. And what this can do is help you to see patterns in your life, right? Because life skills are things that, okay, if you learn to fix a car, for example, okay, that may not necessarily show you how to build a house, but the same structure and sort of system, you realize, okay, there's a system in building a house. So you realize that things work in systems and things have structure and a particular order, right? So another good skill to learn is selling. Now, I was not a naturally born salesman, and I was never a naturally gifted person at talking. But what I did do is that I just practiced it a lot. So people tell me, but Todd, you seem like a natural on camera, and you seem very calm, and you express yourself well. But that wasn't really the case. And one of the things that helped me to become good at public speaking is, well, 2 things. One, I did something called the Landmark Forum, which I recommend for people to do if you want to delve into the realm of self-development. The Landmark Forum is very good for that. And I did the entire curriculum for living. And another thing is that helped me because, before I forget, you have to get up and talk to 250 strangers or so and talk about your life, your personal life, right? So it's like next level. And the other thing that happened to me is that when I was a civil engineer, on the second last project that I was on, it was the biggest project in Europe at the time. And we had something called the project managers meeting every Friday. And what you would have to do is you would have to do like a 10-minute presentation at most on everything that happened during the week in your section of the work. You had to explain to people what was going on and break down the technical and the complicated things in a way that made sense so that they could understand it. Because if you're talking to people that hardly go on site, you have to explain why you have these challenges, how you're overcoming them, and what is the progress and why it matters X, Y, Z. So I had to learn to do that. So every Friday, not every Friday, but every month for sure, I would be talking in front of 50 people about construction work. And I guess now when I look back at it, that kind of like helped me to become a person that's able to speak on camera, do walk and talks like this, because this is my second long form video like this, walk and talk, which I actually think is quite fun. And it allows me to get in a few more steps, so get more cardio, and I can also deliver some cool information for y'all. And it can be, I'm lucky where I'm surrounded by nature in, where I am now. And then where I live as well. Because as you can tell, I'm not actually home right now, but I'm actually home, but that's another story. And yeah, so selling is good because the people that are able to sell can sell themselves, and it means then that their earning potential is not limited, right? So one of the things that I learned is how to market yourself, how to be a brand, and this is what I am doing now. Because as you can see, actually I can lower the camera. As you can see, I have on the Conscious Man 7 shirt. Truth isn't learned, truth is realized. And if you like the work that we do, you can help support the podcast. Link to the store, the Amazon store, Todd and me will be in the description of this podcast. And that helps us to get better equipment like the one I'm using here, right? This is a DJI Pocket 2 camera, right? And I have got the selfie stick on it, and then I have my phone here on attached where I can see notes. So all these are things that help us to produce better quality videos for you and to connect you better. But I was taught how to do a lot of the things that I do, how to sell and stuff like that. And it takes practice. It is like learning a language. It is like going to the gym. It is like if you want to be a doctor, you have to do 7 years of school, right? So my point is that everything takes time, but one step, one punch, one round at a time. And the more that you actually continue to do something, the better you become. And like I always tell my clients, progress over perfection. Focus on progress. If you can say, if you have trouble going to bed at night, try going to bed 5 minutes earlier. Celebrate that win the next day. And then the next day, try going for 6 minutes before, 7 minutes the next day, and on and on and on. And this is similar to the approach called Kaizen, which is a Japanese philosophy for business, which is looking at trying to improve constantly every day, even if it's by 0.5%, or even if it's 0.1%. Because imagine, after 5 days, 0.1 becomes 0.5% cumulatively. And this is what we need to focus on. And another thing that I think may be very interesting for people to consider is learning to code, right? Because with the advent of AI, right, and it's being propelled onto us now, we're going to need people with a high level of consciousness to program the AI, because the people that are programming the AI now are actually people who are anti-human. They are biased, they censor information, and sometimes the AI straight up gives you false information. And that is because the human is the one that is programming the machine. So we may not be able to get rid of AI, but what we can do is that we can let it be a tool. And if it is a tool, it means then that we need conscious people to actually program it so it becomes useful to us. Because I am not afraid of technology. I think that technology can help us to grow and make our lives easier. But what we need to do is we have to have a balance. And I think that we are on the verge of collapse, similar to how Atlantis did. Because it appears that Atlantis, one of the reasons why they fell is that they leaned so far into technology that they started to see themselves as gods. So they tried to become God, but in a synthetic way through technology. But I'm talking about realizing that you are God through consciousness, through the spirit, through actually being able to use both sides of your brain simultaneously. I'm talking about having total balance between the masculine and feminine energy, which is what Yeshua the Christ was. He was the most psychologically sound human being or entity that ever walked this earth, right? So when you do it through consciousness, then it becomes pure, because you realize that there is something called oneness and we all are one, right? And this is a concept that is not taught to us because it's all about the individual. It's all about me, I. So one of the tools that I find is very useful to help you to break down some of these mental barriers are psychedelics. And I talk about psychedelics openly because they've given me so much growth in my life. I can't honestly say, I can't even imagine where I would be right now if I didn't have the exposure to psychedelics. Because where I was 8 years ago was the hardest, darkest, and most difficult time I had ever had. I lost almost everything, and I had to rebuild myself back from scratch. So this is why when I work with my clients, I'm able to help them level up in other areas of their life, because I've been through the fire. I'm still walking through the fire, and I'm still being refined. But what I am is that I am teaching people, hey, you may want to do this, you may want to do that. This is what I did, this helped me. And in order to be a good teacher, you have to have had the experience. And also you have to still have teachers and mentors and coaches, which is what I have, right? I have people that I still refer to. I have people that I ask questions to. So we all need to help each other, and no person knows everything. I am not the oracle of truth, but I can come and tell you and show you the things that I have done, I am doing, and that I will do. So another thing that we need to do is prepare economically. And what that means is that we need to start to look at creating side businesses, side hustles, maybe getting promotions. But what we do with the resources that we get is key. And while I am not a financial advisor and I can't give you financial advice, what are certainties and facts are that the money that we have today is actually intrinsically worthless. It is actually a fiat currency, so it means that its intrinsic value is zero. Now, what has been a store of wealth in the past and through antiquity is precious metals like gold and silver, and now we have technology, we have things like cryptocurrency. Now, like I said to you, I've been in crypto for many years, and crypto has actually saved my life and helped me to continue doing the work that I do, to be honest. And what I think is going to become a very big shift is that these factions that are fighting against one another are going to try to pull down the system, because that is a way that it can induce extreme amounts of fear into our consciousness. So I would suggest to people to do some research on cryptocurrency, do research on precious metals, saving in precious metals, because I don't really call it investing, I call it saving, because metals have protected the value have held a value for thousands and thousands of years. So look to save in these currencies and do your own research on it, right? And another thing that I want to say is that we need to start to trust the process and let go. We are in the apocalypse. We are having a spiritual awakening. And one of the things that, and again, I'm talking to myself as well here, that we need to trust the process, because things take time. Our time is not the time of God, right? We want things now, but God's time is not our time. So what we need to do is be patient. And I heard someone say something very recent that made sense to me. And she said to me, one of the reasons why things don't manifest immediately is that we have to learn how to purify ourselves, because when we get to the next level and we're able to manifest instantaneously, it means then that if you were to see a person and say, oh, I don't like that person, I wish he were dead, that person would just die. So we are having to learn how to purify ourselves so that we have pure heart, so that when we want to manifest and create new possibilities, it's coming from the heart and it's coming from a place of love. So she said to me that we are having this beautiful experience of learning how to, 1, have patience, 2, trust the process, and 3, to purify ourselves. This is why I always say I call it the refinement period that I've been through, because it's like how you refined metal to get to the pure metal, right? Especially like with gold, because you take out gold, and you do ray bars, and then you purify it, 14 karat, purify it some more, 18, 22, 24, and then you go to monatomic gold, you know? So now is the time that we need to prepare for what's to come. We need to prepare mentally, spiritually, physically, economically, psychologically, and all of the alleys and illies that they are, because time is awfully short, and we need to do the hard things now when it's easy to do. So guys, if you like content like this, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share, because that helps us to be recommended in the algorithms. And if you would like to start a spiritual journey, or you are currently on a spiritual journey and you would like some help removing some fears and traumas, please hit me up on my Instagram at Adriano_246, or my name Todd Cave, and I'll help you to get some magic mushrooms. And as you know, I help spiritually inclined people burn fat and build muscle. So summer's coming up, and if you would like to get into the best shape of your life, you would like to grow mentally, spiritually, and also physically, hit me up on my Instagram at Adriano_246, or my name Todd Cave, and I will help you to get into the best shape of your life, because I am a coach who coaches holistically. So I help people also to improve areas in their business, in their relationships, mindset, and I help them to create habits to help the subconscious mind to be rewired, right? Because the subconscious mind is the thing that rules it all. Also, if you would like to support this podcast and you would like to get some merch like this, you know, from the Todd and Me store, we've got some cool tank tops, hoodies, shirts, and sweats. A link will be to the Amazon store in the description of this podcast. And if you like content like this, please, you know, comment below, like, and as well, and just give me some feedback, because if you like content like this, I'm very happy to create more, because this is how I started on Instagram and Facebook, doing loads of walk and talks. But I would like to do some longer format like this, where it's like a stream of consciousness, and it helps me to actually get in some more steps, get in some more cardio, because as you know, I'm not a fan of steady state cardio. But if you're walking for a purpose, that is totally fine cardio, because it's different. You're out in nature, or even if it's the concrete jungle, but you're out of the house, away from your screen, and you're actually paying attention to your surroundings. So thank you for you know, joining today on this walk and talk, this stream of consciousness. And I'll show you a little bit of where I am now, because I can do that with my camera. So as you can see, I'm out in nature, and I'm actually home in Barbados. So I'm back home after many years, and I'm back on the farm, and it's really good to be home. And you know, I love living in Mexico. Mexico is great, but also, you know, this is where it all started for me, and I used to be a farmer, so it's good to come back here and, you know, connect back with the land, because I've been doing a lot of grounding and walking barefoot on the land. And we've got 2 dogs here that, well, one of them, when I came back the last time, he was just born, so he's now bonded with me, so I can play with him and stuff. But the other one, I was not here when he was born, so it's taking a little bit more time for him, but he's a cool dude, man, you know. But anyway, people, thank you for listening to this stream of consciousness. And like I said, if you like if you would like more content like this, please comment below, share, like, and also you can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook and let me know. My email will also be in the description, so just let me know. And there are my dogs. So this one here is Phantom. Let's get the camera to scroll around. Phantom, how are you, buddy? Hey? Yeah, he's the one that's taken to me. He's actually Bordeaux and Cane Corso. And the other one is Dogo Argentina and Great Dane. So he's the one that is has not yet bonded to me. But, you know, I'm here for a little bit, so I'm sure that after a while, you know, me and them will be friends. But anyway, people, much love to you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Conscious Man 7. And we'll speak to you soon. I've got some other more great content coming soon. Some awesome and interesting guests. So, yeah, stay tuned. We speak soon. Cheers and namaste.